like to thank everyone for joining us this afternoon and welcome to CX Tech. My name is Paula Miller and I am the Executive Director of the William G. Pomeroy Foundation. We're a new foundation established in 2005 by Bill Pomeroy, whom you may know as the founder and CEO of CX Tech. The foundation has two areas of focus and interest. One is historic preservation and research. The other focus is to fund medical research and programs specifically relating to blood cancers, which is why we are here today. A little over a month ago, we held a meeting with several community leaders to discuss the idea of a community-wide bone marrow recruitment drive appealing to the African American community. And support for this initiative was overwhelming. I am so pleased to announce that two of our community leaders have stepped forward to chair this campaign, and you're going to hear from them now, and I'd like to introduce them. And that is Frank Fowler and Helen Hudson. Frank is the Deputy Chief of Police for the Syracuse Police Department, and Helen Hudson is the Community Services Liaison for the United Way of Central New York and the AFL-CIO.
I have to admit that when I was first approached and invited to learn about the National Marrow Registry, I didn't really know what this was all about. But after learning about how easy the process was to join the registry and the low number of African Americans on the registry, I knew that this was a crusade that I needed to be a part of. So when I actually left the meeting, I went home, I called my son, I called all of his friends, and I told them they were going to be a part of this. And I also started calling some of the different work sites that I know of, and I started recruiting so that we can get in and start doing donor registration. With 7 million donors on the National Registry list, there's only 8% that's African American. That's why the need is now. Paula and myself will be at the Southwest Community Center Friday from 5 to 8 for the Gospel and Youth Family Day event with some educational materials, and we will be more than happy to speak to anyone that needs information on donor marrow. We will also be at Clinton Square on Saturday. We'll be there from 5 to 8. And all we need you to do is look for the Gift of Life sign, and that's where we'll be located. We'll be doing giving out the kids and talking to people and educating on the registry. Thank you.
Like Helen, I too was surprised to learn that blacks and African Americans face the greatest challenges in finding donors. And with the donor numbers so low, we're especially at risk. The most likely match is someone from a similar heritage, and 70% of the patients will not find donors within their own families. They must rely upon volunteer marrow and blood cell donors. Joining the registry is easy. It's done with a cheek swab. Should you be selected as a potential match, then there's some further testing. However, there's no cost associated with this procedure, and it's done locally. You're not even in the hospital. To demonstrate just how easy it is to join the registry, we're going to do a demonstration of a cheek swab procedure. Sue Pabraki from the National Marrow Donor Program is going to assist CX Tech's employee Thurston Bailey.
And Thurston, this is going to help identify your antigens. Those are markers in the registry. So when someone needs a transplant, their markers will go into the registry and they'll be looking for a perfect match. And if you are a perfect match with that individual, then you would have the opportunity to donate and save that person's life.
In addition to donor numbers being low, there are other reasons why it is especially difficult for blacks and African Americans to find a match. And Sue Paprosky is going to tell us a little bit about that. Sue?
Basically what happens is we all have antigens. Those are proteins on our blood cells. They're part of our immune system. And these antigens have to match perfectly with someone who needs a transplant. Now, generally we get half from our mother and half from our father, so that already tells you that your mother and father are not going to be a perfect match. So parents and siblings, or parents and children, can't donate to each other. So when someone needs a transplant, whether it's leukemia, lymphoma, a whole variety of blood cancers, the first thing you do is they look at their siblings. But the siblings, you only have about a 25% chance of matching your brothers and sisters. So the vast majority of people, 75% of them, need to go to the registry. Now in that registry, as Frank had pointed out, there are low numbers of African Americans and other minorities as well. And so when someone who is of that particular race goes to look for a match, they only have about a 40 to 50% chance of finding a match. There are large numbers of Caucasians in the registry, and fortunately they have about a 90% chance. So what we want to do is we want to get the numbers up of all minorities, but in particular African American, so that those individuals who come to look for a transplant in the registry will have a much better chance. We'd love to see everyone's chances up around 80 to 90%. And the reason why it really works that way as far as coming from the same ethnic background, same race background, again, is if you think about it, there are hundreds of antigens, and so you've got half from your mother and father, and then your grandparents, the four of them gave your parents half of each of theirs, and so you can see how it becomes difficult. However, usually along the same race line you will find that match, and I'll answer questions later on for all of you about this, but thank you so much, and I want to thank Paul for this opportunity.